Hey everybody, this is Mark from MomentumCryptoApp.com. In this video, we'll take a look at the Analyzer tool. We'll see how we can use a tool to get a better idea, how to set the parameters and the trend alarms we discussed in the last video. Be sure to hit like if you like the program, and subscribe to hear about any new momentum alarms and features when they come out. Okay, let's get into it. In the last video, we looked at our two trend alarms, the symbol trend alarm and the exchange trend alarm. In these alarms, we set trend and MAC parameters. The MAC, or moving average change, represents the last change in the moving average and gives us an idea how quickly a crypto is rising or falling. Both the trends and the MAC are based on the 12-period moving average in momentum. The moving average helps smooth out the rough spots so we can try to establish trends. But the moving average lags a bit behind what is actually happening, and so does the MAC. In addition, the MAC that we might set for a 4-hour time period, for instance, is usually going to be less than the MAC for a weekly time period, just because when a coin is going up for a prolonged period of time, it usually moves up a higher percentage in a weekly candlestick than it does in a 4-hour candlestick. And a 4-hour candlestick will probably move up more than a 15-minute candlestick, and so on. So if a crypto has a good run and we want to set our trend alarms to try and notify us of a similar event, how do we know what trends we should look for and what MAC ranges we should look for different time periods? Enter the Analyzer tool. The Analyzer tool can help us with this information. We can take a crypto that's went up nicely and analyze it with the tool, and the tool will show us, given our 12-period moving average, how momentum would interpret trends and what the MAC was for various stages in the coin's rise and for different time periods. We can then use this information to help us set our trend alarms to aid in trying to capture similar events. The Analyzer tool can be found by going to the menu, the three dots at the top of any of our main views. We click on the three dots and select Analyzer. But before we do that, let's use trend mode to find a crypto that's done well and has a nice curve to it. Here we'll sort by weekly MAC to find coins that are increasing the fastest based on the weekly moving average. We'll scroll through until we find something we like. Let's use this one, Aleph. We can see in the weekly charts for the coin that the coin really started creating an exponential curve and taking off about 7 weeks ago. So we'll see what the trend in MAC was 7 to 8 candlesticks from the end. We could also go further back and see what the trend in MAC was about 11 weeks ago when the coin broke through a recent high. Now, if we go up to our main menu and select Analyzer, we press the plus button to add a new Analyzer instance and select the Trend Analyzer option. We start typing the symbol we're interested in analyzing, and then we select it. The defaults are preset to the settings momentum uses, a 12-period moving average, and the last 5 MACs to establish exponential trends. So the only thing we might want to change here is the time period. Let's leave it as it is, so the time period is set to weekly, and simply hit run. We now have a list of how momentum viewed the trend in MAC after each weekly candlestick came in. In each item, it tells us the time period of the candlestick at the top. On the left, it shows us the trend in MAC that momentum would have calculated. To the right, we can see the candlesticks open, close, high, and low. The list is ordered from oldest at the top to the newest candlestick at the bottom, so let's swipe up until we get to the current time period. We'll disregard the last candlestick since that's not a fully published candlestick, but one that's still being updated periodically. If we go back 7 to 8 candlesticks, we can see that the weekly MAC was 5 to 7%, and it was showing an exponential curve. We can also go back 11 candlesticks to when it broke the last high. Here it was still showing a down to uptrend, and the MAC was at 2.53%. After that, momentum analyzed the trend as a linear up for one candlestick before seeing all exponential uptrends. So if we wanted to set a trend alarm for this type of activity and maybe catch something similar, maybe we could set a trend alarm with an exponential trend and a MAC from 5 to 7 for the trend alarm's weekly time period. Or if we want to catch something similar earlier, maybe we could set a down to uptrend and a linear uptrend with a MAC around 2 to 4. So let's try it. Let's set an exchange trend alarm with a weekly exponential curve and a MAC between 5 and 7% and see what we get. So we only get one coin with an exponential curve at that range, and that's DIA, which is somewhat low volume. But you can see how the weekly curve is bending up. One of the things I wanted to do with the creation of momentum was to find exponential curves. To fit the exponential criteria, the change in the moving average for the time period needs to increase more and more for 5 straight time periods. But due to the criteria, they're relatively rare, so you would get more results by adding a linear uptrend as well. As we can see, the crypto is going up more and more, and it's in the range we set. Now, after showing the initial coins that meet our parameters, the trend alarm will proactively notify us of other coins in the future that meet those parameters. We could also look at other top movers, so we have more data to base our parameters on. We could also do something similar with other time periods and events we're trying to catch. For example, we might look for a certain trend pattern and MAC range for a longer term period, such as the daily or weekly charts, and also look for certain trends and MAC ranges for a shorter time period, such as the 4-hour charts, and trade based on the 4-hour charts. But you get the point. The analyzer can look at how momentum viewed the trend and MAC historically for a coin, so you can get an idea of how you might want to set your trend alarms. Keep in mind that nothing is guaranteed. This isn't investment advice, just as nothing in momentum is investment advice. It's just showing you how you might use the tool to try to figure out what trends and max you might want to set in your trend alarms. Cryptos go up and they can drop just as fast. Momentum's alarms and views don't tell you what to buy or sell or what's going to happen. They just show you things that meet your parameters based on exchange data and allow you to proactively be notified when certain events occur that you request notifications for. Coins that meet those parameters might be worth considering or adding to your favorites list and keeping an eye on, but ultimately any trading decisions are yours and yours alone. In this video, we took a look at the analyzer tool and saw how you might use it to help get an idea of what trend and max settings you might want to use in the trend alarms. In the next video, we'll take a very quick look at momentum settings to see a couple things we can do there. To see the next video in the playlist, click on the link above, and we'll see you there.